Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And it's time for an NFL check-in. The season is over, and my buddy Rod here is. We're going to talk about some football. Rod, thank you so much for coming on.
Shane, it's always a pleasure coming on your show and always nice to get an invite. I want to make one thing clear to the audience, though. I was lied to. Just like Dakota Johnson was lied to when she said she was going to be part of the MCU. I was told this was a Madam Web spoiler review, and it wasn't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my! No, instead, this is a Taylor Swift podcast.
There we go.
So the one thing I'll say is the amount of people talking about 25 seconds of a football game need to get over their lives and how poor your lives are and that you have nothing else to think about. So yeah, get over it.
I Shane, I think the finals amount of screen time she had for the Super Bowl was like less than a minute. I think it was 54, 55 seconds, something like that.
Of an
By the
almost
way,
4 hour experience.
exactly. So, I mean, we really just need to calm the F down. But it was a great game in the second half. First half, I was watching it with my family and get a little worried. So
I thought we were gonna get Rams Patriots all over
it
again.
was building up towards that, right? It was definitely building up towards that. And then
And honestly, I think I might have been tempted to watch the Nickelodeon cast next year because of all of the things firm and grasp it firmly, firmly grasp it. And Dora being like, "Hi, do you need a map to find the red
yeah,
zone?" I'm like,
yeah,
God.
Dora was roasting people in the Super Bowl. Listen,
So, and they
I,
played Sweet Victory, so they kind of sold me.
listen, I am a fan of CBS and what they do for the football coverage. I am not a Tony Romo supporter, though. I do not like I don't like his analysis, but I do love Jim Nantz. I think Jim Nantz is one of the best to ever do it.
Mhm.
So, it's kind of like there were moments too, Shane, where I was like, I kind of want to try on Nickelodeon just because I'm just really sick and tired of hearing Tony Romo talk. But I
Yeah.
will give Tony Romo this. He called his best game during the Super Bowl until the final call when he just ruined the touchdowns, the game-winning touchdown by the Chiefs.
Honestly, all I'm gonna say is it's not Joe Buck and Troy Aikman because I hate Joe Buck so much. And like, I don't want to listen to him call football. I'll take Tony Romo. I'll take Tony Romo any day.
I think
But
the Fox crew was it Tom Brenneman and Greg Olson. I think they're the best though right now.
I really like them a lot.
Hmm.
I would not be mad if they were the ones calling the game.
Well,
But like
Fox has a Super Bowl next year, so but
mhm.
Brady is replacing Olson. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, Brady's replacing
Yep.
Olson next year, which really makes me mad.
Term Brady, which like Tom Brady's extremely football intelligent, so I'm sure that he'll bring a lot of insightful things and not just sound like Tony Romo. Uh, so yeah, the game was slow to start. A lot of mess, like McCafferty fumbling, and like just the fumbles in general, and neither team could really get anything going for a while there. And I'm like, wow, the Chiefs are going to pull a 49ers because all the 49ers did all season was play dead for a quarter and a half and then turn the Jets on. Except, like, I went in the game, I didn't think that the 49ers could do something like that to the Chiefs. So when they got out a little bit, I'm like, no, it's Mahomes. Like him dropping dimes 55 yards down the field between two defenders randomly. I'm like, well, there you go. There's him doing that all over again. And when he started connecting with Kelsey, and I was like, well, things are getting interesting here. But no, that end they tied it. I'm like, we're going to overtime, and that was exciting. And the discourse on if Shanahan did the right thing, getting the ball or not, it's just like the rules are I get his approach. The rules the way that they are, if you're the team that gets the ball first, you both score, you get the ball again. So like, and both teams were gonna probably score points. Let's be real here. So it just one of them scored a touchdown instead.
So, a couple things there. I think you could definitely feel that first quarter and a half or so. Both teams were very tense, especially the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs were kind of in their head a little bit, but I also think they at the same time they were kind of toying with the 49ers a little bit. And then on the
Mm.
49ers, you just felt like the pressure is on. Like it was a big game for the 49ers, but it was a big game for Shanahan.
Yep.
Shanahan's been to the big dance now twice. He blew it once, and then he blew it again. Blew a 25-point lead, blew a 10-point lead. And it was looking like for the first quarter and a half or so, it was like, oh, maybe Shanahan has up. Nope. Okay. It's Mahomes.
Yep.
So listen, Mahomes, growing up, Peyton Manning was my favorite player, favorite player I liked watching, Shane. I made
Mm.
sure I could catch almost every Colts game I could when the Dolphins weren't playing. And, you know, him on the Broncos, it still feels weird to say Peyton Manning was a Broncos quarterback, right? But
Mm.
I watched a lot of his games with the Broncos. There's nothing like Patrick Mahomes, though, Shane. Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest, if not the greatest football player I've ever seen. And I've yet to watch a game of his in person. But I am truly amazed, Shane, by this kid. I mean, he's now won three Super Bowl MVPs and two regular season MVPs. He doesn't need to get the seven to catch Brady. I think he needs two more. I think he'll get there. I think he needs two more Super Bowl MVPs and one more league MVP, and I think he'll surpass him.
I think next year's going to be very interesting, as we'll talk about in August, about them going for a three-peat. And I
It's
believe they
possible.
can do it because it's
It's
not
possible.
like there's not a whole lot of teams that are like they beat the best of the best teams in the NFL to get there. It's not like it's not like the Eagles last year, how they got through the playoffs and got like the right matchups at the right time.
Oh, you
And
mean the Giants and the 49ers with their fifth string quarterback? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
at least the Giants won a playoff game against, Kirk Cousins perennial I can't win a playoff game.
Prime time Kirk Cousins.
'Cause- and then that Eagles Giants game happened. I'm like, I was at my friend's house and I'm like, he's an Eagles fan, me being a Giants fan. I'm just like, this game's over and it's 5 minutes into this game. But no, what the Chiefs did this year proved that like they're the team to beat. And they've gotten to Dodgers status for me, where it's like going into any season, I'm not gonna bet against them. Like if they don't win, they don't win. But Chiefs are gonna be the favorites to me go into whatever season at this point because
Well,
it's
don't
Mahomes.
disrespect the Chiefs by comparing them to the Dodgers. That's just disrespectful. I'm sick and tired here. Dodgers this, Dodgers that. The Dodgers will win what 90 plus games every year, Shane, and then blow it in the first round, like my
They're gonna
Braves
win
have the past 2 years.
130 games this season and then
Yes,
still lose to the Diamondbacks in a
yes.
sweep in the
What? They're
playoffs.
going to lose to the Diamondbacks or somehow who else might make the playoffs next year? The Padres. Or no, they lost, so I don't know if the Padres are going to make it next year. But yeah, Diamondbacks or whomever and lose in the
Diamondbacks are
first
gonna
round.
do it again, and I'm gonna be just as satisfied. But no, it's the Chiefs do it. Or I guess maybe the Chiefs or the Astros.
That's a better comparison. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a better comparison because let's be real, Astros actually show up and win
exactly.
in playoffs. Yeah, sorry, yeah, that wasn't a great comparison because the Dodgers choke in the playoffs all the time.
Every
No,
every
Chiefs
single time.
don't.
They
Like
don't.
he's been in the AFC Championship game all 6 seasons. He's been in the NFL. It's insane.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the scary thing too, Shane. I want people to, your audience to think about. This was probably the worst team Patrick Mahomes will have.
Yeah, and look what he did.
Exactly.
It's insane. And not to get into the whole game manager argument about Brock Purdy, but like Brock Purdy had one of the most talented teams possible to be working with, and he did a really fine job. He put up numbers. They had a bunch of fluke in, like that one player that literally like ruptured his Achilles
I
trying to
felt
run
so
over.
bad for the guy. Like it's a Super Bowl, and you just it's not it's sad because it wasn't during a play. He was literally jogging onto the field to go
He was
back.
literally jogging onto the field.
Like your
But
heart breaks for that kid, man.
they didn't get it to Kittle. Like he wasn't a factor. Neither tight end was until, Kelsey was. And then
Steve
was
Spagnuolo,
making plays.
Shane. Steve Spagnuolo. He drew up a great game plan defensively. He really said, Brock Purdy, you have to beat us.
Hmm.
And while I think Purdy had a good game, Shane, Purdy, Mahomes, we all know Mahomes is in a league of his own. It's Mahomes and everybody else. But I can't even put Purdy on that tier two of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I don't know if I put Jalen Hurts on tier two after this past season. Um, Joe Burrow, I can't put him on that tier two. I think he's more tier three. Tua, Herbert. I think he's kind of in the Stafford, Goff. I think he's in that tier three of like very good quarterbacks who kind of need everything to go right for them to win. Um, Now I think Herbert's gonna have a better year next year because of Harbaugh.
Yep.
Here's the one thing, Shane, I will say. The Niners will have the easier path to go back to the Super Bowl because of the conference they play
Yeah,
in.
because the NFC is a joke.
Exactly. Because
So
I don't think the Lions are going to be, I don't think they're going to make it back as far as back to the NFC Championship game. I
I'd be
that whole
worried about the
NFC,
Packers for the Lions because
that's what I was getting to. So I think because I don't believe in any NFC East team right now because the Cowboys choke every
no,
and Nick Sirianni is
a
we're not even gonna talk about
clown.
yeah, he's a clown. Watch out for those Packers next year though.
Hmm.
Jordan Love's only gonna get better.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, Packers might make a push here, and I wanted them to win so bad too. The playoffs were interesting, and then they weren't because like that first weekend sucked. Like that was a bad weekend of football. That Buccaneers Eagles game was a joke. Like
There was one good game wild card weekend, wasn't there? There was a Sunday game,
I
right?
think there's one close game.
Oh, the Lions Bucks. That was the game I liked. That was a close game, shit. That was the only one.
Well, and the when we had the Lions Rams game, that was an interesting game.
That was first weekend. Lions Bucks was divisional weekend. That's right.
Yep,
Lions
Lions Rams.
Rams was open
That
was
was it.
open.
That was
That
the
was that was the
only
one.
good game.
Yeah.
Well, I did love watching the Packers Cowboys game though.
I'm not gonna. So I went to my friend's house and we watched it together. Had a couple of drinks and ordered some wings and watched the game. And I I was I was shocked and not shocked. I was shocked because of what the Packers were doing. I wasn't shocked that the Cowboys were choking.
Yeah, that was bad. That was real bad.
Here's the thing, though. I don't put that all on McCarthy. I don't. I still think McCarthy's a great coach.
Well, he
I
he
don't
did
think Dak is the answer. But who
no.
who who are you gonna get that's better than Dak? That's the problem.
That's a tricky thing because right now the Cowboys aren't going to get a good enough draft pick to like try to shoot for one of the top tier quarterbacks in the draft. And like who in the NFL is going to be available that's a winner?
So the only
Kirk
quarterback
Cousins
that
is not going to win you games
here's the
when
thing.
it
Yeah,
matters.
I think Kirk Cousins, he's a top 15 quarterback. For me personally, he's a top 15 quarterback. But you put him on Dallas. When you're a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, you're gonna have at least five primetime games a year. So you've already got five losses if you're the Cowboys. So you better not go sign Kirk Cousins. Um,
Well, and what there were some trash teams in the NFL this year and made a lot of team schedules real easy. Like the Cowboys and the Eagles had like an embarrassingly easy schedule this year. And the Eagles couldn't even beat the Giants the second time they played them. Like,
That I mean, I know we're going to go by divisions here in a little
yeah.
bit, but I that team hasn't
Well, let's
completely fallen.
start there.
It
Let's
hasn't
start
completely
with
fallen apart,
this
but
hot mess.
they've lost. There's some lost faith in Nick Sirianni. You can feel it.
So let actually, you know what? Let's start with the NFC East because what a world. This the two glass 11, 12 win teams of like, look, they're big playoff contenders. No, they weren't. They were shadow teams showing up into the playoffs. Neither of them had what they needed to do. It won. The Eagles were completely lost. Their coaching staff ruined that team because there's way too much talent on that Eagles team for them to look that embarrassingly bad.
Uh, Shane, they look like the worst team in the league for the past month of the season.
Like they should have lost to the Giants twice.
Twice. They should have lost the Giants twice, and oh, that's right, they did lose to the Cardinals. That was funny.
And they
Fun.
lost, and they blew that game against the Mariners, Seahawks. Sorry, wrong sport.
You know
Uh,
what though? I was happy for Drew Lock. I was happy for Drew Lock that he got that. He had that moment.
so Eagles, they need to gut that coaching staff, and probably should have got rid of Sirianni because it doesn't matter how long he's been there. The team doesn't aren't behind him, so why even have him?
Sirianni is he's just too much for that organization. I think he talks too much. I think they all got it. Their egos got too big because of last year.
Mhm.
Um, Now people need to remember when you're it's great when you win the division, right? It is fantastic. But that comes with, oh, you got to play a first place schedule next year. So the competition's only going to be tougher. And for the first September through November, I would say, man, the Eagle, I was like, oh, okay. Last year wasn't a fluke. And then,
Well, they didn't have that strong of a schedule either to start the season, and the only team with the easier schedule were the Cowboys because they just played trash for like um
that the
that
whole
first game of the season was one of the most embarrassing things I have seen in my life when they absolutely systematically decimated the Giants in the worst loss in the history of the Giants franchise and probably one of the worst losses in the history of the NFL. Some of the stat differences like that was I was demoralized after the first week of the season. I'm just like, no, we made the playoffs last year. It just the Cowboys put up so many numbers against trash. And everybody's like, the Cowboys look so great. And no, they turned out to be like it was a glass house. They built all this confidence on, and they got to the playoffs, and Jordan Love spanked them.
so
Spanked them.
I want to give the Cowboys this. I do want to give them a little bit of credit for last year. I do think, aside from that loss to I think it was the Niners, where they got completely demoralized. It, they did look like a team that could win it all. They did. I did believe in the Cowboys. And then I think, Shane, it was that 31-10 loss to Buffalo, where I said, yeah, this team's not ready. And I get it. Buffalo was on a hot streak because Buffalo was peaking at
Yeah,
the right
after they
time.
lost to the Eagles,
Yeah,
they're like, not again.
not again, exactly. And I mean, I know we're going to talk about that then later, but I do think that loss changed my opinion, a lot of people's opinions on the Cowboys, and
Hmm.
I think the Cowboys players themselves kind of look themselves in the mirror. Are we really that good?
Well, and they sure didn't have the confidence going to the playoffs because they got went in home and got destroyed. Let's talk about the Giants. So Daniel Jones. Well, first off, this was a historically bad offensive line, and the amount of sacks that the Giants quarterbacks ate this season was horrific.
Shane, let me ask you a question. How
Yeah,
many times are we going to say every year at the end of every season the Giants' offensive line's a mess before it
every
actually gets fixed?
single season. Because my God, what they did was historically bad. And first off, they got Daniel Jones hurt. Daniel Jones gets hurt. Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. And then we got Tommy DeVito. And the only time I had any excitement this entire season was watching my Paisan win some games and then get absolutely destroyed. One game, I'm like, well, and that was over.
What was the game where was it the Commanders game where everyone was like, "Oh, DeVito," or was it the Patriots game?
I think it was the Commanders game because he
Okay.
put up like three touchdowns. And I'm like, oh my God, this little Italian from North Jersey can do something. And then no, they got destroyed. He got sacked like 50 times in like 5 games. Like, how? It was so bad. And then Tyrod Taylor honestly looked pretty decent at the end of the season, especially dismantling the Eagles defense.
Tyrod Taylor is they're two different style of quarterbacks, but he's kind of like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He will go on any team and he will put up numbers and he will fight for your team till the very end. Uh, he's not going to get you far in the postseason. He might not even get you in the postseason, but he will be competitive in every game he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel for the kid because he got done wrong with the Chargers after that whole punctured lung situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been around the league for a while now, and he's a very, very good, valuable backup quarterback.
Hey, him and Joe Flacco slinging throws at the end of that season, this season was a lot of fun to watch. And then the Commanders.
Next,
Next,
uh,
NFC North.
thank you. No, it's just, I mean, well, I will say this about the Commanders: the team they had constructed this year, they were a competent head coach away from really competing or really contending for a playoff spot. I don't think Sam Howell is as bad as people say he is, or well, he was still a rookie or second year quarterback, I guess. I don't think he was a rookie this year. What was he? No, he was a second year quarterback.
He
He's
had a
just a second
couple of
year, I
good
think.
games.
He did, and he's always going to put up numbers. But Ron Rivera is not has not head coach material. He is a defensive coordinator. He needs to go be a DC somewhere and thrive in that situation. But now Dan Quinn's there, so that organization's going to keep going this way.
Well,
Washington sports,
oh my.
fantastic. Yeah, Commanders, Nationals, Wizards, Capitals. Woo!
Oh my.
Oh my.
NFC North. Let's start at the bottom. The fact that the Vikings were tied with the Bears at the bottom was interesting. They obviously were missing Kirk Cousins. So
They didn't like that.
him getting hurt, and it was just like, well, they're screwed. And didn't help them at all, and that didn't look great. The Bears are such a weird situation. Do you keep Justin Fields? Do you keep investing in Justin Fields?
All right, so I look at this from two perspectives. As a business, looking from it from a business perspective, no. You trade him, you take on a rookie, you draft a rookie quarterback, and you take on that rookie contract. As a NFL fan, yes, I think you give Justin one more year. I think he's proven he can win and he can be a great quarterback in this league. But the Bears have continued to do nothing for him because that offensive line is a absolute shit show. And they got him the receiver this year. So what they need to do in the draft this year is trade away from that first overall pick, trade back, gather more draft picks, and keep building that offensive line. Get Justin Fields another weapon. Uh, Sign some decent free agents. They're there. They've got something cooking. I still don't
Well,
believe in
and
that
they
head
were
coach.
not that far off from a playoff spot
No.
as is. So like the NFC is not strong. So if they do trade him, who's he get traded to?
To where I'm currently living, Atlanta. He's from here. He went to school here for a year. Yeah, I trade him to
Interesting.
Atlanta. Trade him to Atlanta. They've got a new head coach. They have weapons on the outside with Kyle Pitts and Drake London. They've got a really good defense.
And a
Trade him here to Atlanta.
weaker division.
A very winnable division. You put Justin Fields in the NFC South. Mark my words, they win the division next year.
There you go. Uh Packers and Lions. This is gonna be an interesting division, the two teams going into next season.
I think the Lions are still going to win the division. I still think they're a more talented team with a better quarterback. However, yeah, both teams will have double-digit wins next season. That I do
Yeah,
believe.
the Packers were one win away from doing that now. So
Exactly. They are 1 win away from, or they are the both teams, excuse me, will have double-digit wins. They will both be in the playoffs next year. I still think the Lions will win the division though, just because I think they still have the more talented team, and Dan Campbell will bite your kneecaps or whatever the hell he says. So Dan Campbell just needs to not gamble so much and just take the points.
mm, that I literally walked upstairs for 12 minutes to record like two videos, came back downstairs, and that game was tied.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened here? And Lions. They just they it just everything went wrong at that point, and it's just like I was so happy to be like, oh my god, the Lions are going to the Super Bowl, and it's like, nope, ripped it right away. And
You know,
honestly, the Packers had that like they could have beat the 49ers too. It was so frustrating back to back weeks. I'm like, oh my god. Because
the Packers should have beat the 49ers.
yeah,
Let's be real here. They should have beat the 49ers.
yep.
I think they one, I think the inexperience of Jordan Love showed in that game. And two, I a lot of teams when something is working really well, they tend to abandon it. I don't know how many rush attempts Aaron Jones had in the second half, but I feel like they went away from that run game a little bit in the second half of that football game.
I think that's a big problem in general. I
Yeah,
don't think enough NFL teams have a strong running game. And if you can have a strong running game, you don't put all the pressure on your passing game. And like 49ers, you have Christian McCaffrey. So like you have it. The Lions had two running backs that were carrying a lot of that. Like, I think the NFL has really gotten away from the fact that, like, you could, do offense two ways, right? And it's too much just complete. Because the thing is, if you're passing it all the time, you're also, when you have a lead, you're not cutting down on the clock. Like, you gotta play that. And if you can't run the ball, then you're not going to extend that either. And I think that came back to bite a lot of teams that they're very one dimensional in offense. And it's all a big quarterback story. It's all about the quarterback. Who can you get as a quarterback? Is like, you could have other pieces here.
yeah.
So, oh, the NFC South. Does Young
Next, next.
does Young make any improvement?
So I know Shane, you're not a big college football guy.
Mhm.
I'm a massive, massive college football fan. So I watched almost all of Bryce Young's games in college at Alabama. The kid has talent. The kid can be a great quarterback in this league. You put Bryce Young on the Texans are still going to the playoffs. That's how I feel about Bryce Young. Um, Now, CJ Stroud proved me wrong because CJ Stroud had a horrendous preseason and proved everybody wrong in the regular season. That being said, Bryce Young, I'm not saying he's on the trajectory of becoming like a Tua where he needs everything to kind of go right for him, but you got to give the kid some help. You got to
That
give the
team's a
kid something.
disaster.
They are. It's more than just Bryce Young. Bryce Young wasn't definitely had his fair share of issues, but what do they expect from a rookie quarterback?
That whole who's the top quarterback in that division?
Bigger,
It's like you have and Derek Carr, right, on the Saints.
bigger.
Yeah, and it came out Baker Mayfield led them to the
I'm
playoffs.
not this season. Maybe I'm not as high on Derek Carr as I thought I was after the season. I think Derek Carr kind of regressed for me.
Well, I feel like him going in that division, the Saints should have won.
Yes, they should have.
Like should have. Baker Mayfield stood up and did some stuff and got them to the playoffs and got a win.
Baker Mayfield, I am very impressed by his maturation in the NFL because he was already kind of like the not a hothead, but he was kind of like the cool guy coming out of Oklahoma, win all these big games and stuff. Number one pick, so he's kind of feeling himself a little bit. I think when he
Who
got to
originally
the
picked him?
Browns picked him.
Well, that's the
Yeah. But
problem.
something happened when he went to the Rams, he got humbled.
Well, that's the thing. How many quarterbacks have been drafted by the Browns?
Uh,
Because how many times have they gotten top picks and got quarterbacks? And how many quarterbacks just disappeared? Like when I
yeah.
did follow college football, I remember Brady Quinn, and
Mm.
like that's what I did actually college football. It was back when like Matt Leinart and Vince Young and like all of them is like Brady Quinn and Notre Dame were a lot of fun to watch, and it went to the Browns, and that didn't work out, did it?
No, it did not.
There's just that's just a sinkhole, but we'll get there. But no, I especially this division. Well, if Justin Fields gets sent to the Falcons, I 100% agree. They're taking this division. They're already 7-10. They weren't that far off from winning this division.
No, they just had really bad quarterback play. Now, if Justin Fields does not go to Atlanta, Tampa Bay is win the division again. That's kind of how I see it, especially if Baker resigns.
I
Yeah.
just I hope for Baker Mayfield's and the Buccaneers' sake that they don't turn out to be this year's Giants.
Mm. I don't think so. I think Baker's better than Daniel Jones. I think
Sure doesn't
Baker,
get paid like Daniel.
no, he does not. And I think Baker's going to get paid. I don't know if it's going to get like, he's not going to get Joe Burrow money or anything, but he's going to get paid.
They the Giants need to opt out of that contract after this season.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
just saying.
I'm with you. Should
They
have
pick
paid Saquon first. Okay.
yeah, who should you invest in on that team? That's a no-brainer. Like, who are you kidding? But apparently the Giants do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the NFC West. Well, Cardinals are in the basement. And
They'll be better next year, but next.
Seahawks, another borderline. Will they kind
Yeah,
of
will they,
like
won't they? Yeah, next.
and then you got the Rams and you got the 49ers. Will the 49ers still be the best team in the NFC next year?
In the entire conference? Y- Yes. I think to
They
start,
have
yes.
talent. They have
Look, as long as
so
you've
many
got
good players.
McCaffrey, Debo, and Kittle, you will be the best. You will be the best team at least in your division. In the conference, yeah, yeah, yeah. You will be a contender every year with those three.
Do you think Brock Purdy's going to be long-term quarterback for the 49ers?
If he does, if he at least gets them to the NFC Championship game next year, yes. If not, if they have an early round playoff exit or they're the one seed and losing divisional round, questions will be had.
I know a lot of like the big people talk about football. Shannon Sharp still has a lot of questions.
Shannon Sharp said, I don't know, but Shannon, whatever. Look, listen, Brock Purdy has proven a lot of people wrong. And he is not, well, I can't say he's not, he played a good enough game to win the Super Bowl, but he needed to play better.
Yep. Third down. I know that kept coming back to like he
Yeah.
was 3 for 12 on third down.
But you could just feel, I think it was a little tight in the second half. He was definitely feeling the pressure.
Oh, and they were coming for him.
They were definitely coming
Spags
for him.
was like, eat him.
Yes. And yeah, but I'll already miss some throws. He absolutely missed some throws he should have had. So, is he the best quarterback in the NFC? No. I think the best quarterback in the NFC right now is probably still shit.
Yeah, that's not an easy question, is it?
I might have to say Stafford, honestly, Shane.
I think he's
Stafford or Goff.
they're the most talented
Yeah, Stafford
because
or
like
Goff. No,
Dak's not a game changer. Jalen Hurts, I don't know what the hell happened this season.
my man got paid and he said, F it.
And then if they could get their morale back, I'd be very interested to see if he turns things back around. But no, you have Stafford and Goff, and they're two big arms. Stafford's getting older though. I'll be interested to see. I don't know if the Rams are going to do as well this coming season as they did this season, and I don't know if it's just an aging.
As you got Cooper Cup and Puka Nuka there, they're going to be good. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to win the division next year. I think they'll make it as a wild card again, though.
Mhm. But no, yeah, I think the 49ers are the most obvious division winner to me at least. Well, I guess maybe Tampa, but that's a low bar.
Yeah, I think they are yeah, I think you're right. I think they're the most obvious division winner pending a Justin Fields trade to Atlanta.
Mhm. Let's go to AFC. Let's start
Oh,
with
here we go. I'm awake now. All right, here we
AFC
go.
East.
Oh, hell. Damn it. Okay. All right.
Patriots any better? Any worse?
Next.
They're 4-13. So
Next. Next.
is Aaron Rodgers going to come back and do something this season?
Everyone, what's that? Jets
Also,
fans
how
and
are
some
they
of the
7 and
experts,
10? The way they were.
they've got a fantastic defense. That defense keeps them in games.
There you go.
And look, Rodgers is going to be 40
Coming
here,
off of it, like Achilles, right?
coming off an Achilles. I- They're not winning the division. Could they make it as a wild card? Possibly, because I think the defense is good enough to keep them in every game they're in.
Mhm.
But I don't believe in Rodgers being making like this MVP like return next year and taking them to the promised land. I think this Jets trade for Rodgers is going to go down as one of the worst trades in history.
Well, they did pay all those jokes going around, like how much would you pay for 30 seconds for the Super Bowl? And look how much the Jets paid for 30 seconds, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I know this is going to be an interesting one for you personally, Rod, but
Oh,
Dolphins Bills.
mm, okay. Um,
What do the Dolphins need to do to make sure they win this division?
this hurts me because Shane, as you know, and people who've watched the show before, people who know me, I am a lifelong Dolphins fan. My dad grew up a Dolphins fan. I am a diehard Dolphin. You can see my little Dolphins hoodie right there.
Mhm.
Um, I love my Miami Dolphins. Uh, got to see him twice last year in person, Shane. Got to see a win against the Cowboys and a slaughter against the Ravens. So it's been back-to-back weeks. I still believe in my boy Tua. I do. I believe in him. I think he's good enough to win a division. I think he's good enough to win a playoff game or two. Do I think he's good enough to win the Super Bowl? I don't know.
Especially in a Mahomes
In the
era
Mahomes
AFC.
era, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's good. Now, if Mahomes has to go to Miami, okay, we can have that conversation. But if we're in a situation where Tua has to go to Arrowhead, then forget about it. Man, forget about it.
We'll
Oh
get
wait,
to it,
that just
but you
happened last year in the playoffs. I get it in below freezing temperatures, but they lost. And Tua proved people wrong this year. Tua has improved every year, and he proved people wrong this year, but won the big game. They beat Dallas. Granted, it was at home. I was at the game, but that city was electric when they won. That stadium was rocking. It was fantastic. Uh, it was an atmosphere. It was one of my favorite NFL games, Shane, that I have been to ever. I truly it was maybe not my favorite football game I've been to, but it was like a top three football game I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of football games. That was a lot of fun. Um, but I think three things, Shane, need to happen for the Dolphins to kind of contend to win this division. One, fix the defense. And they've already they replaced Vic Fangio, thank God, with the defensive line coach for the Ravens, Anthony Weaver, who I've watched interviews. I have, studied the film tape on him. He I love it. I love the hire. I'm excited for what he's going to bring to his team. Two, Mike McDaniels, please do not abandon your freaking run game. Too many times in the second half, when the run game is going well, he will abandon it to prove that Tua can throw the football. We know Tua can throw the football, but you're going to have, Shane, you know this, you're going to have games when throwing the football is not going to be an option,
Mhm.
and you're going to have to run the damn ball. So McDaniels, run the damn ball and stop being cute with all your trick plays. We know you get cute and fancy with all your trick plays. Excuse my language, Shane, but cut that shit out. Just cut it
Mhm.
out. Number three, Tua's going to get paid next year, Shane. I think he should. But next season's on the defense. So I'm like McDaniel. Next season's on Tua. This is a Tua, not make it or break a year, but you better prove us something. You better win this division next year, damn it. This team is too talented for you not to win this damn division and get an early round exit in the playoffs. You proved you could stay healthy all year. Thank you. Had a
Mhm.
career year. Over 4,000 yards passing, 29 touchdowns. Thank you, Tua. Thank you. Now do it again, but win your division.
I think, yeah, because when it really came down to it, it's too inconsistent. You were going out there and putting up 70 points, crazy stuff, and then losing. Like, not that it's it's hard to compete hot and cold like that, and especially when this division Bills went hot, real hot.
And yet, that last game of the year, that last regular season game, Sunday Night Football, my dad and I are watching it together. Dolphins should have won that fucking game. And it all came down to, oh my goodness, a punt return for a touchdown. Special teams miscues.
Hmm.
So, do I think my Dolphins win the division? Absolutely. They are too talented not to. I, uh, it all just comes down to December. I don't care what they're going to do in September and October. So I know they're going to be great. It's going to come down November and December when it matters, when the temperature changes, and they got to go on the road, play these cold teams.
Hmm.
That's when I want to see it.
Yeah, they gotta play Buffalo.
Well, Tua's proven he can go into Buffalo and play well. He has yet to win in Buffalo. He has beaten Buffalo once in his career. Once. That was on a hot, blistering day in Miami where all the players were fainting past and passed out. I remember that game because that game, Shane, I was on the edge of my seat about to pass the fuck out just from being
Ugh,
so tense.
crazy.
Yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
AFC North. How the hell did this division turn out to be the one where literally every single team had a winning record?
That's right, because the Bengals still had a winning record at the end of the day.
Yep.
The Bengals are going to be back. Uh, the AFC is going to look different next year because of Joe Burrow coming back. I
Mhm.
believe they're going to be improved. Steelers are a quarterback away from being competent. Like the Steelers made the playoffs and their offense was shit.
They're 10-7. They didn't have a quarterback.
My point
So
exactly. My point. Imagine Kirk Cousins on the Steelers.
that'd be interesting.
That would be
They
that would
need
be very interesting.
somebody. I think that would be a good fit.
I think it could be a great fit
Hmm.
because he won't be asked to play hero every week because they have the defense to give him in every game.
Hmm. And then the magic of Joe Flacco pushed them along at the end.
Pushed them along, got into the playoffs. Great story. He won comeback player of the year. Yada yada yada. Fantastic. Deshaun, you better prove it this year or you're gone.
What a Browns can't catch a break with quarterback to
No,
save lives.
they can't.
Point.
They can't. They
No,
can't.
it's just
No,
so bad.
it's
And
bad.
then is this an easy Ravens division win?
No. Like I said, Joe Burrow will be back next year, so I don't think it's going to be as easy. I think this Ravens team is going to show up butt hurt, at least to start the season. Because let me tell you right now, Shane, this was their best chance to win it all. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl playing the 49ers, Ravens would have won this game. That's the way I see it.
And they couldn't get past Mahomes.
Well, who did? Who could?
This year, well, how how the rest of this season went, we'll get there, but like they were an 11-16, and they were the well, look, we'll get there. AFC South.
Next.
You have Stroud and Lawrence are
I'm
the
done. I'm done with Lawrence. I'm done. I'm done.
there you go.
He is a glorified Ryan Tannehill. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
So no
Yeah.
Jags competition there, but like what a I know that was a huge disappointment with how the Jaguars turned out, and they blew it. Like right at the end, they
All you had
blew it.
all you had to do was beat Tennessee. All you had to do was beat Tennessee, and you blew it.
Yep.
There was a it was backup quarterback Ryan Tannehill playing that final game, not Will Levis. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan freaking Tannehill, and you somehow find a way to lose. No, I can't believe it. Why should I believe in the Jags? Why? Why should I?
Texans got a lot more going for them right now.
Damn straight they do.
That makes me happy. I've known a long time Texas being a really trash team. So good for them.
Hey, that Matt
So
Schaub era was a pretty good era. Matt Schaub days.
and then is there even any competition in the AFC West anymore at this point?
Broncos are going to regress because they're going to have a new quarter, have a different quarterback, probably a rookie. The Raiders will be better. I like how they kept Antonio Pierce. It's a great move by them. Boy, if they still don't have a quarterback, and Devonta Adams might be a little unhappy with his current situation.
Oh, and the
And
Chargers will definitely be better.
yeah, but it's still Justin Herbert at the end of the day, and I can't trust Justin Herbert. So, no, the Chiefs can go 7-10, probably win the division and make a play and make a Super Bowl. So I don't really. The Chiefs have become the Golden State Warriors to me, but they just get bored in the regular season. They're bored.
How this is an interesting question. How long do you think Kelsey's going to play?
How old is he now?
33?
Let's find out. Let me go on
Because I am interested to think about
AskTaylor.com. 34. So he'll be
34.
35 in October. Look, I think he's got two, three good prime years left, maybe two. I think he's, I think he wants that three-peat. I think he wants it bad.
Oh, I
After,
think they're all coming back with a vengeance this
yeah,
season. Everybody better be on notice
yeah.
next season.
I think he wants that three-peat, and then we're gonna start hearing talks about him either moving on to a different team or retiring.
Him, Andy Reid.
I think a lot of things gonna hinder on this three-peat. If they do it, Reed might retire, and no one will complain.
It'll be in because like Mahomes is incredible, but he's had those same pieces all six of these seasons. It'll be interested to see how he adjusts without them.
I think Mahomes eventually might pull a Brady and just go somewhere, see if he can win there for a couple of years and then retire a Chief. You know, uh, Mahomes to me seems like I think he's going to stay loyal to that Chiefs organization. Uh, but like I said, he might, age 37, 38, he might be like, you know what? I want to go play with the Vikings for a couple of years
My
and see if I can win.
Broncos years,
Exactly. Yeah.
like Peyton.
I like Peyton. Well, actually, the Colts kind of forced him out, so that's not even the Colts did Peyton dirty. Uh, that's just me though. So
And then look what happened to the Colts. So at this point, this turned out to how it really turned out this season turned out to be the Chiefs' year. I think this season reinforced that the NFC is a very flawed wasteland
mediocrity,
uh
yeah.
of the 49ers and then some big posers in the
I mean,
NFC East.
why should any other NFC team be favored to win the Super Bowl other than the 49ers?
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Like going into the next season, I think that's pretty straightforward. I know I said earlier it's not all about throwing. You need to be able to run the game, but like you still need a quarterback. And there's a there's not a lot of great quarterbacks in the NFC. It's all what's damn AFC. Getting all the great quarterbacks.
Hey, for a while that was the NFC though, right?
Well, I was a humongous Peyton Manning fan. He was my favorite player. And then my favorite team had his brother on it. Eli certainly was not my favorite player. He's so much fun. He's really funny. And I
Hey, but it was
enjoy.
always great seeing that whenever Peyton and Eli would face off that year, it was always Sunday Night Football. Always,
Yep.
always, always, always. So those matchups were always fun to watch, even though Peyton's teams would usually slaughter them. So
All I know is when Tom Brady's like, you know what, Peyton, it's always such a pleasure playing you and everything. And Eli, when he was like, how about our times, Tom? When Tom Brady was on the Manning cast, I'm like, damn. Oh, Eli's up for the Hall of Fame
that's right. That's right. He is.
this coming year.
I'm not going to be shocked if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, the most beautiful derp to ever get a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Look, he dethroned the GOAT twice in the biggest game in very similar fashion.
Very simple fashion.
So
Oh, I watched both of those games very intently, obviously. It's I still like, wrapping up the season, I really think this is the Chiefs world right now and the whole rest of the NFL's living in it.
it's gonna be we went through the Patriots dynasty. We are now living in the Chiefs dynasty.
And this one's even more consistent. There was a long spell where the Patriots weren't there.
because the Patrick Mahomes is the greatest player we have ever seen and we might ever see in our lifetime. There will be a day, Shane, where someone better than Mahomes will show up. It's gonna happen, and not for a while though.
Well, Patrick Mahomes showed up and the man came around.
I don't
And
want to see any more quarterback rankings on these damn ESPN or FS1 shows of like, well, Josh Allen because he's got a cannon of an arm. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore.
are you Nick Wright? Where it's just like this is what this has always been. It's all Mahomes.
Never a doubt.
Him and
Never a
all of his
doubt.
banners,
I
all the
watch
Chiefs
I
banners.
I just watch that show just for him and Wilds. Like that show is consistent. And look, a lot of these sports shows, Shane, they have a lot of awful takes. At least first things first is consistent. And Nick Wright is one of my favorite sports personalities. I actually do like Nick Wright. Um,
Watch him on TikTok all the time.
I think he's great. I think he's funny. I also watch his own show on his own YouTube channel. He lives with his family, which is actually very good. And first take's a joke. First take's a joke. Colin Cowherd, I think is a clown. I can't stand Colin Cowherd. I think he's an absolute clown.
Neither can my brother. Hates him so much.
Colin Cowherd, he's the definition of a clown. You go on Webster Dictionary, you're gonna find a picture of Colin Cowherd in fucking clown makeup because excuse my language, he's a clown. I'm sorry, I get all heated because I hate Colin Cowherd. Uh,
Him and Nick Sirianni right there,
oh
clowns.
God, just clown.
Dictionary.
Sweet Jesus. Anyway, let's move on from the sports personalities. I can't.
But yeah, this is an interesting year of football. We got to see the back to back. This actually the first back to back Super Bowl wins since the
Since Brady.
Broncos with Elway
No,
or
Brady. 0304.
0304. Ah, yes, when beat what was it, Eagles and the Panthers? Might have been reversed order, but
Yeah, I think so.
they beat Donovan McNabb and his vomiting in the huddle because wasn't keeping up with the hurry up offense when it mattered.
Was the Eagles not? Why am I thinking it's not the Eagles?
Thought it was the Eagles.
I thought it was the Rams.
Rams was 0-1.
That's for me.
I know that for a fact because that was the first one. That was the Drew Bledsoe year where Drew Bledsoe was the Patriots quarterback, and then he wasn't.
Maybe it was the Eagles. Maybe you're right.
I'm pretty sure it was. I definitely lived like it's funny because you were talking about all of your great memories of like watching football games in person. I've never watched a football game. I've never been to an NFL game. Being a Giants fan in Southern New Jersey, I'm not getting. I'd catch myself dead at the link, so I'm not chancing that.
I
And
I don't want to go there just because I don't want to deal with Eagles fans. I don't.
and I don't and I don't want to go up to North Jersey, go to Meadowlands.
Well, I don't want to get myself hurt. Every time someone goes to Meadowlands, they end up leaving with a serious injury. I don't want to go there.
I just saw all the jokes of like, the World Cups coming to the Meadowlands
Yeah, those players are screwed.
and them all getting off is like, why does New Jersey look like this? I'm like, that's North Jersey, thank you. The South Jersey kid. Our part of New Jersey looks nicer. But it was an interesting year of football. And next year will certainly be an interesting one. I get all of our eyes will be glued to the three-peat. And I lied to myself because I said I was only going to mention this once. Will Travis and Taylor still be together next year?
That's the that's the hot question, right? Will they be together next year? Um, I think Taylor's starting to realize, oh crap, Travis is actually a little freaking crazy. Um,
Apparently not as crazy as Jason.
no, Jason's just a drunk. Um, I
Jason
I
Kelsey
think so.
is the epitome of what every single Eagles fan wishes that they can be. and every Philly fan wishes that they can be. Jason Kelsey could be a character in It's Always Sunny. So,
That's
and
funny.
Philly people love the Philly people. So,
And here's what I want to ask you, Shane, because of course the Super Bowl winner gets to play or gets to, host the first game, the first regular season game. Who is their first home game? You're the option, Shane. Okay, what's going to be better? What's going to be better for TV, and who do you actually want to see them play? So their options are, of course, the Chargers, Raiders, or the Broncos, or they can play the Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Saints, and Bucks.
Ravens.
Now that'll be great for T. That'll be great for TV. I don't know if they're going to do that this early in the season, just because we just kind of had that game in January. It's a little fresh in our minds. Shane, it might be the Texans.
That'll be interesting.
It'll either be the Texans or it's going to be Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's first game back in the regular season at Arrowhead. That's a way to kick off the NFL season.
I thought you were going to say they're going to feed the Giants to Patrick Mahomes to start the season.
Change of events.
Oh my God. I hope the Giants don't have to. So, all I have, did they release? They didn't release a schedule yet,
No,
right?
but they have the opponents and they don't play the Giants next year, so you're good.
Am I? Because if they wind up playing the Cowboys again, I'm not going to be happy. Start the season against Cowboys again.
No, they don't
And
play the Cowboys either.
I swear they better not play the Eagles week 16 and 18 again.
Oh, they do play San Francisco next year though.
Lovely.
Ooh, and they come to Atlanta. I might have to go to that game, Shay. I might have to go watch my boy Patty play.
See, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes.
Dang. That'll be see, Shane. You get Justin Fields in Atlanta. You get a Justin Fields led Atlanta team against the Chiefs. That's good popcorn right there, Shane. That's my CTV.
Can we get Justin Fields in New York?
Nah, I don't know. I want to see that, Shane. Come on now.
Get rid of Daniel Jones. Like, nope, we got Justin Fields now. I heard that rumor for like a hot second, and I'm like, don't. I was the Hawkeye meme from Endgame. I'm like, don't give me hope. Don't do that to me.
Oh, you know what, Shane? The NFL might just because of the coach, but they might try to push the hardball Chargers versus the Chiefs that opening game. They might try to push that.
Herbert's so hot right now. Really?
Nah, nah,
I
nah.
know.
Uh,
But Rod, thank you for coming on and chatting some football and looking at this crazy season.
it's been a crazy season. Of course, it ended with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl again. Uh, Not my favorite NFL season, Shane. It was an entertaining season for sure. Especially like the last month or so was really intense.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh,
so
every week, almost every single game had playoff implications. Like,
implications.
this
Yep.
is nuts.
Like adding that extra game added a bit more intensity to the season, so I like that. But Shane, it's always a pleasure talking to you, whether it's movies or sports or whatever. I know you're still recovering from your Madam Web experience.
Got to build up for my very French taste of things. That's what I'm seeing tomorrow.
Taste of it.
Madam Web, Oscar nominated Best International Film.
Oh, is that playing around you now?
Yep.
Oh,
It's nationwide. I'm like, sure,
yeah, sure it is. I don't think it's
sure.
playing here in Atlanta. I do want to see that though. It looks good. I was about to watch Fallen Leaves today, and then I saw the audience when I said, "Oh, okay."
I really
Uh,
like that a lot. It was weird, offbeat.
so is it really is it like a rom? What is it? What is it like a romantic drama or what?
I think it's like a weird, like Scandinavian rom com.
Okay, okay, okay.
It's really awkward. They're both really awkward. But anyway, thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.